Good day, I'm Stephen McHugh and this is your GIS News for Wednesday, December 6. Almost $90 billion in spending has been added to the 2017-2018 budget. The supplementary estimates of expenditure was tabled in Parliament yesterday. It increases the national budget from nearly $716 billion at the start of the fiscal year to now $805 billion. Capital expenditure is increased by nearly $69 billion, while housekeeping expenditure now sees a $21.6 billion increase. Among the changes is a $2 billion capital allocation for road repairs through the Ministry of Economic Growth and Job Creation. $791 million of that was rerouted from the Ministry of Finance's Contingency for Natural Disasters and Infrastructure Rehabilitation, as well as the Contingency Provision for Public Investment Management Systems. The funds will go towards the rehabilitation of parish councils, farms and main roads across the island that have been damaged by heavy rains in recent months. At the Office of the Prime Minister, initiatives to bolster youth employment, rural economic development, and public sector modernization also received increased allocations. The Ministry of National Security has been allocated an additional $1.1 billion to implement new security initiatives, purchase vehicles and telecoms equipment, as well as construct and improve police stations and other buildings. And almost $285 million has been added to boost the Agricultural Competitiveness Program, promote climate change resilience in the fisheries sector, diversify livestock, and improve the banana industry. A contract worth $19 million has been signed to carry out improvement works on the Constant Spring Road in St. Andrew. The work starts early next year through a partnership between the Ministry of Economic Growth and Job Creation and the China Harbour Engineering Company. At Tuesday's signing, Prime Minister Andrew Holness said the project should vastly improve commuting within the city of Kingston and from the capital to adjoining parishes. The roadway will be widened from 2 to 4 lanes, 14 intersections improved, and 6 traffic signals installed at intersections. Upgrading of the stormwater drainage system, installation of new sewer and water lines, and the construction of 2 new bus bays at Manor Park will also be undertaken.
At the end of the project, we expect to have one good stretch of high-quality road running all the way from Norbrook Drive in the north to Red Hills Eastwood Park intersection in the south, which gives us approximately 4 kilometers per lane.
And still on road works, Prime Minister Andrew Holness says the Barbican Road Improvement Project will be completed by February 2018. The road work was scheduled for completion this month, but the Prime Minister says persistent rain in recent weeks has stalled the project.
Created havoc with our schedule, so we're not able to keep the December timeline which we had set, but February should be good enough.
Barbican Road is one of 6 legacy projects under the government's major infrastructure development program. Mr. Holness also gave an update on plans for other road projects.
We intend to start the Junction Road very early next year. I believe they have actually started some scoping and preparatory work already on that road. And we are also examining the possibility of starting a section of the South Coast Road Improvement Project to see whether or not we could begin early next year the sections that would lead into Portland and Eastern St. Thomas.
The Solicitor General's advice is being sought to settle a tax issue involving the Ministry of National Security and an importer. The ministry had entered into a contract with O'Brien's International to procure 200 pre-owned vehicles for use by the Jamaica Constabulary Force. However, only 30 so far have been delivered, with 66 vehicles on the wharf to be cleared.
The police need the 66 vehicles. We are doing everything, I said it in my statement, to ensure that those vehicles are brought into the police fleet at the earliest possible time without additional cost to the taxpayers.
O'Brien's was awarded the procurement contract of $426.9 million in December 2016 to supply 200 vehicles to the Ministry of National Security. The delay in delivering the vehicles stems from a failure to pay the general consumption tax and special consumption tax for import. On November 23, the Finance Ministry granted O'Brien's a 6-month moratorium to waiver payment of the taxes on the 66 vehicles. That has not yet been taken up.
The vehicles are on the wharf. The police need the vehicles. We have $42 million for the supplier. There is one option. We can use that money to pay the bond. It wouldn't be the taxpayers' money. It would be the supplier's money. And he's responsible to pay the duties anyhow.
The final report from the CARICOM Review Commission will be tabled in the House of Representatives in January 2018. Prime Minister Andrew Holness gave the commitment in the House on Tuesday.
The CARICOM report is still before Cabinet, and it will be addressed as one of the first reports early next year. In fact, I want to take it in the second sitting of Parliament next year.
Mr. Holness says the subcommittee of Parliament is also looking over the report. The CARICOM Review Commission report was delivered to Prime Minister Holness in March. Led by former Prime Minister Bruce Golding, the Commission met with several stakeholders, including former Prime Ministers in the region, former CARICOM General Secretaries, and focus groups across several parishes. And finally, Minister responsible for gender, Olivia Grange, is urging Jamaicans to join government's fight against gender-based violence.
I urge you to use your positions of power and influence to change the culture of violence. Our voices must be heard advocating for the rights of women and girls, men and boys, to enable them to be active participants in the development of our nation, Jamaica land we love.
November 25 was observed as International Day for the Elimination of Violence Against Women, and the ministry initiated 16 days of activism against gender-based violence. In Parliament Tuesday, Minister Grange updated the House on work that had been done to curb the practice. Among them, a gender mainstreaming policy in the workplace and a pilot program for gender equality seal certification. And that's it for JIS News Today. I'm Stephen McHugh. Thanks for watching.